Where you go? We got a show to do today.
Do we?
Yeah. Well, it's an us show because we didn't get any guests. We didn't wrangle
So
anybody.
all the people who were like, circle back for January, like I did, and then they were like, circle back
No.
for February. So
Well, I know at least that my loving mother, Diane Brogan, is in the audience,
I love her.
as is the wizard, Steve Brogan,
Oh,
who
your biological father.
my biological father. Do you know he's been crushing on Wordle, 2 and 3s most of this whole week, I think. So I don't know what's up with him. I think he's eating the Wheaties or something. He's really wordling it up. I don't know. So we've got like stems and seeds today. We've got some topics, some ideas, some thoughts. We'll talk about whatever. Um,
You'll have to share your mic. I mean, if you want to hear me, that's your call.
it's the Backpack Show.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
I love him.
Tim Kitzrow. I just saw him. He was doing some announcing on like in a real place, like a real stadium or something.
In
I
a
was
real
like,
place.
not our stupid show.
Not like a fantasy world,
Hi,
like
Leslie.
London below.
Yes, London below. Yeah. So Tim Kitzrow. I put a couple news stories in a little note for us so that we could talk about some news stories, but whatever comes up, comes up. We were going to talk about some, we were going to get into sort of some human time tips, things to be better human, because you and I both have the fun experience of being asked for lots of favors and, tapped for a lot of things. And, it kind of gets to you after a little while, especially in certain circumstances. So we're going to go into that. But I'll tell you a couple of news stories first. One of them, I was personally kind of interested in. A company called Journey Clinical just raised $8.5 million so they can do more psychedelic research and also to do expansion of that treatment into more places.
Like for depression? Or just for fun?
Yeah, just take psychedelics. Yeah, no. So for instance, with my clinical depression, the only drug that ever worked really well for me was they classify it as a psychedelic, ketamine, which was supposed to be an anesthetic. And it turned out that people had these crazy hallucinations. And then they gave it to horses, and even the horses were kind of like, eh.
I think it's hilarious. It's like, hey, hold still. We're about to cut you open. You're like, oh my God, the walls are melting.
Right. So, and then someone many, many years later said, I don't even know how you thought. This to me is like in the category of things like, who's the first person who ate a mushroom and lived?
There's a whole category of things like that I would like to know. Like, who's the first person that ate lichen? Or who's the first person that, like, I don't know, figured out there's water in the cactus and tried to drink it? And, like, I have questions.
Yeah.
But no one to ask.
Yeah. So I don't know who said this is a great idea for people with depression, but it worked for me. So you take the drug in a doctor's office, you hallucinate your face off, and then it basically like flushes this incredible warm feeling through your whole body.
But do you have to do it like the way you take regular medications, like every day or every week, or is it like occasional?
That's a great question. Okay, so there's what they say and there's what my experience has been, which is completely different. They're like, well, sometimes you take the drug and then it works for a couple months, and then we have like kind of booster drugs, almost like inhalers and stuff, which I was like, there's no way I want to take a psychedelic inhaler. Wee. But I go into the
possibilities though.
It does. Boring meeting. So I go in the doctor's office. They stick an IV in my arm. I sit there for a full hour. They pump the stuff into me in the first handful of minutes, and then I just trip for like an hour, and then go home with a lift.
Delete Twitter off your phone.
Yeah, it's been recommended that I do that. So and then it works for me a year at a time. Like I go a full year. So anyway, I think it's cool, and I'm glad that more people are getting it, because there's everybody I know who deals with depression says none of the drugs work, and I only have one that kind of worked before this, and this one is like.
Yeah, I have a loved one who struggles with anxiety and depression, and none of the medications have done a thing. So
Yeah,
I get it. Whatever works.
Go ketamine. Weird news in the U.S. report on job market for January, and what's weird about it is like, oh my gosh, inflation is crazy. Power bills have gone up like 70 or more % in 1 month. December it was like one number. The next month it's times 0.7.
My Airbnb host is gonna be mad.
Yeah, I guess so. You got to shut some of those lights off, whether or not you want to. So 517,000 jobs in January alone. Unemployment is at the lowest that it's been since 1969. Meanwhile, wage growth is still down. And it turns out that more people getting a job is a problem with inflation. So even though that sounds like it should be a really good thing, it turns out it's like screwing more with inflation and we're in trouble.
So what are you supposed to do? But I see tons of layoffs, first of all. So at least like in the tech space, it doesn't feel like
No.
that rosy news is true. But also, what are you supposed to do in that situation to adjust for inflation? Or should you not? Are you supposed to just let it run its course and then a loaf of bread is like $25?
That is a good question. I will need an economist.
Back to the gold standard.
Do we know any economists? We got to get one.
Of course we do. I went to Bentley.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my father, Steve Brogan, you may have heard of him. He says of the thousands of shrooms out there, about 100 are poisonous. So by the way, let me just...
I like those odds.
Yeah. Let me just say that. So mushrooms are only one kind of fungus in the whole mycelial world or whatever. There are some right now that there's a new article going around that says that they are possibly threatening humanity now that global warming. Yeah.
They've had enough of our...
There's a fungus among us. And now that global warming is going up, there's this fungus that can climb inside our bodies and really muck with our breathing. And it's on the rise. It's used to only be in like Texas in the US and I think one other place. And now it's in
warmer.
like 13 or more states because of the temperature.
Like antifungal medications.
We do. And those sometimes help, but they're fighting with us.
We need to fund antibiotic research and antifungal research and antiviral research, those three.
Yeah.
Antibiotics especially, because people forget what it was like before antibiotics. People have gotten really sloppy about like infection prevention and stuff, even in medical settings. So come on, guys, get those kids to go into scientific research.
Be a scientist.
They don't want to. They want to be YouTubers.
Dean points out that obligatory comment that Wall Street sucks. Great jobs report means the stock market plunges. Yeah, no, it's actually pretty true because like that's the other thing about all these tech layoffs is that you get rewarded with a big stock bump. So what do you do about that? You can't fight that. Annette said it's a bit hard to hear Kerry. Hang on. Let me just check this one thing. Is it on Omni or Cardioid? It's on Cardioid.
Ha 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 ha. You just didn't want people to hear me.
I just completely fighting.
No, now it's going to be too much me and not enough you.
I could just do this. I'm a little bit country.
Spill this drink all over your desk.
All right, and that says human tip: adding more fun to life. I used rule number 6 in January: one big adventure and one small adventure per week. This is fun to do. Tranquility by Tuesday. This week's adventure: Casa Amazonia Peruvian culinary adventure in DC. So you're going to cook something. How big is big? I don't know. What's a big adventure in that?
Because to me, a big adventure is like jetting off to Prague with just my backpack. Be like my big adventure. And I cannot do that every week, but I would like to.
Yes. Yeah, so everyone's saying you sound low, so hopefully it's better. Stain Eric Sorhog. I just saw Bergen yesterday in a YouTube video. So
Brogan saw Bergen.
Brogan saw Bergen. Let's see what Stain says. The job numbers puzzle me as well. I want to believe that we're adding jobs. In my mind, the United States and Norway, where Stain's from, lead the world at everything. But this runs counter to what you're hearing in word of mouth and reading, not to mention the amount of jobs rapidly becoming obsolete in the face of exponential new technology innovation, without the time to retrain and reskill the workforce, which is only increasing the pace not seen since the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, and I think like that situation, there are jobs, there's new jobs and different jobs and jobs that didn't exist like 5 to 10 years ago.
But he's pointing out like to retrain people to it.
Yeah.
I mean, think about if you're a marketer right now and you've had, and we'll get into AI because we kind of have to, think about how many, by the way, somebody say, yes, I hear Kerry better now. Hi, Ben Dempsey. Think about being a low starting marketer in a world where AI can do most of your job now. Mm-hmm. It's got to be nuts.
Well, then that makes me worry about like high starting marketers, like intermediate to, because how are you going to get any of those and train them up if your low level marketers are all AI? Although, I learned once that in Europe, at least in some countries, you go to judge school to be a judge. like it's separate from becoming a lawyer. Not like in the States where you're a lawyer, and then if you want to be a judge, it's like years of practice and some really good connections, good golf swing. So it's kind of interesting. So maybe there'll be like just a separate kind of educational track now to go right into like intermediate to advanced marketing and just skip those kind of boring ass due paying years altogether.
That's interesting to consider. Like, can you compress a career based on some of these technologies?
We just get a head start.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, so a weekly big adventure, according to Annette, is 3 hours.
3 hours. Okay.
A big yearly adventure is jetting off to Prague. You like Prague?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, sorry.
I've never been there. Oh, I might like it.
You like the idea of Prague?
I would like to go.
I want to go to Bergen now that I've seen it. I think that's what's called in Norway. London.
I want to go to Swampscott.
The mountains of air. So we're gonna move the mic again because look at these shirts. Our name's in the way.
Yeah,
okay, we'll move your. Okay.
What?
Oh, that's the wrong. I'm not even moving the right thing.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
there's Kerry.
My new one.
And I have one. Viking tees. Now they're not a sponsor or anything like that.
You just like them?
I just like them. So let's see. Oh, Viking Goods. VikingGoods.com.
Love it.
So just thought they were cool. I was like, hey, Kerry's Irish.
Official merchandise of the Backpack.
Unofficial merchandise of the Backpack.
They're like, you're not affiliated with us.
Stop using our face and name. Yeah. Yeah, they'll unaffiliate us.
We'd be in trouble.
Like when Johnsonville, showed up.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Well, you kind of like muscled your way into that. You were like, sponsor us, sponsor us, sponsor us. We're sponsored by you. And they're like, what? No, you're not.
No, you're not. Okay.
But then they did.
They did.
So I don't know what kind of message that sends.
Yeah, we bullied them.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's like no means maybe.
All right. Dean says his one big adventure is going to the mall. Have you been to a mall lately?
It's actually really scary if you have to go to a mall. Like there was a place that's one of those like video game places, like an arcade. They have all the arcade games in it, pinball machines and stuff.
Yeah.
But you play by the hour, like they're all set to free play. And it was in a mall. So we go and there's like nothing else in this sketch as hell mall except this thing. And it was so freaking weird. I did not enjoy it. It was really creepy. It was kind of like a post-apocalyptic feel to the whole thing.
Yeah. Malls are like, people with 6 teeth at this point. Like you have to walk through these big blocks of nothing.
There's nothing. And some of them, the anchor tenants even were left because there was nothing else there. I went to a Stride Rite in Nashville one time when the kids were little. I think it's a Stride. Is that little kid shoes?
I don't know.
I forget. Anyway, it was some little kid shoe store. And it was the only thing left in that part of the mall.
Oh my gosh.
And it was really sketchy.
Dark and scary.
Yeah. So now I'm like, we will do it online.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I'll return them if I have to.
Oh my gosh. Stain says, come to Bergen. Iron Maiden's playing at the Fortress this summer. I just took my kid last fall, my oldest Vince, to Iron Maiden in Worcester, which is basically the Bergen of Massachusetts.
John Mulaney's coming to Boston, I saw.
John Mulaney?
Yeah, but it was already sold out when I looked. So I'll have to get tickets for like $1 million.
Well, then what are we going to do now? So,
I don't know.
One of the best comedians to imitate in the whole world.
You have to dress the part if you're gonna.
Yeah, you have to wear a nice
suit.
a
suit and carry a briefcase and stuff.
Yeah. So last time I was in a mall was 2009, says Linda. Hi, Linda, by the way. So yeah, I took Vince to see Iron Maiden. There was a little problem because Vince didn't really think through all the logistics of a live concert. And I didn't exactly either. I didn't think about maybe earphones for somebody who's not used to really loud noises. But it was a great time, and it's really great. Bruce Dickinson is a commercial airline pilot when he's not singing for Maiden.
That's awesome.
For British Airways, and he's always like, oh, we'll go to your flight. I'll be your captain, Bruce. And people who know. And every time he says, "I'm your captain, Bruce," the people in the airplane always go, "Rah!" People who know, which means approximately
like 2 of them.
Yeah, which means like approximately 208 people go, "What is that about?" So I just love that.
They're packing flights full now.
Yeah.
There's actually fewer flights going, especially on long hauls, than there were before the pandemic. And so there's like a rail covered in sun. And it's just like even the seats that nobody wants, like they're all full. It's crazy.
I don't want to know. Let me grab some more news from our little news pile because we're lilting. Oh, I mentioned Barely AI, BEARLY.
I thought you meant you barely mentioned it. And I'm
I
like,
barely
that's not
talked
true.
about AI. No. I even put up a post on LinkedIn saying I'm going to stop talking about AI
That was a lie.
because all our idiot friends are all talking about it now.
Yeah, but they're talking about it different.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So now I'm just showing recipes instead. I'd rather just show the guts.
Oh, like how to do it.
Yeah.
I thought you meant recipes. Like this is how you make whoopie pies from scratch.
My grandmother made some really good food.
I was kind of here for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But you do you.
I could have them make recipes that don't really exist, like unicorn whoopie pies or something.
I bet there's unicorn whoopie pies.
There probably are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Barely. Here's where it gets kind of interesting. I'm going to go to the site really quick. Maybe I'll show it. Barely.ai. All right. So here's how they're marketing it, which I find is kind of interesting. Let me see. Share screen, share a tab, share the Barely tab, audio if you want to. Okay. So it says save hundreds of hours reading and writing with the world's best AI. And if you look at my bottom right corner, Barely is installed on my browser. There's a little bitty Barely head right there.
What does it do?
If I click it, it says, do you want a summary of this? Do you want an executive summary? I have a little more time. Do you want to ask any questions based on this? Or do you want to go nuts and open the whole Barely app? And I don't usually need to go nuts. So it's free. And all this app is, like, this is kind of how dumb the space is in some ways too. All this app is a wrapper that goes around a lot of the things that you do with AI. Oh. So you can ask it a question and it'll go out to ChatGPT and bring back an answer. One of the things in the recipes of ChatGPT is you say to it things like, act like a life coach.
Act like John Mulaney.
Yes, you could do that. You could do Saul Goodman or something, right? Mm-hmm. How would you want Saul Goodman to respond to this, threat to disconnect your water bill, right? And it'll do it. So Barely just does a bunch of that for you and says, we know what else to say. Mm-hmm. So you just say the thing you think you want to say, and we'll just do the behind the scenes to make it work better, and then spit you back out the answer. That's all it does.
Okay.
But it's cool and it's free. You can get it on a Mac or a PC or whatever.
It's gonna be really cool till there's like a new Chat GPT thing, like a different and better.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh.
Well. So at the same time that this is doing this, see, we're gonna just talk about AI. I told him I wouldn't write about it on LinkedIn. This isn't that. Oh my gosh. Freaking
blur.
Okay. No, come on in. It's my side. Your side's better.
Here, I can move.
Let's just do the show on your side. No, go the other way. Go that way.
This way.
Okay. Hey, look at us. New show. And yes, that's my Christmas tree. Don't be weird about it. I like my Christmas tree. It's got dinosaurs on it.
Are you just going to leave it till next year?
I think this way. We're going to run out of microphone space.
All right.
Okay. Oh my gosh. But who makes this show?
Your mom.
Nerd. All right. So Barely, the thing is cool. Microsoft is already doing this. Microsoft is going to glue Barely into everything. You might see people start to not Barely.
So it's going to be one of those things that is happening and you don't know that it's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. Is we're going to go from talking about this to it just is.
Not even knowing it's there.
That's why I want to stop talking about it, because at some point it's going to be like talking about your computer keyboard. Like, I have this cool computer keyboard. And, people do that, but it's not really true. Hey, we have some new people coming on the show to talk about AI, but what's interesting is you said they were going to talk about AI accessibility.
Yes. So Equally AI has an app that tells developers as they're doing code, hey, you should fix this, like for accessibility, here's the suggested fix. So while they're actually developing, it's kind of incorporating accessibility best practices and telling them how to accomplish them. And it's just like simple fixes. So it's great. So instead of launching and then having people that can't read your stuff or something, write you angry and upset, like you fix it from the beginning. It's better for inclusion.
So I am a Perkins accessibility champion. And I only know I'm an accessibility champion because they were smart enough to write it on the page, because I never remember what it says.
I nominally am. They asked me to share a thing and I shared it, but I didn't get a mug.
Well, that's because, I don't know, reasons. Katie Martell.
I don't need a mug.
It has my coffee in it.
Can I see it?
Yeah, please. Are you going to spit in it?
No, I felt like there should be there's
there's Braille
on it.
Yeah. Is it real Braille?
I don't know. I'm not blind.
Oh, we'll see.
I have to assume so.
But ever since they got me involved in this process, hello to you. And hi, Debbie. Debbie? Hi, Deb. Sorry, Deb Lee.
Oh wait, because you have a Deb and a Debbie. That's
accessibility. Yeah. So I fell in love with using the alt text field on photos. And so when I write an article for LinkedIn, sometimes it'll let me add the alt text, sometimes it won't. So there's some weird things. So I think I think my point is, yeah, we're in the same room. No.
That'd be an amazing trick, though.
We have a really cool AI now.
Come back next time. It'll just be me in here.
Just two heads.
That'll sound really good.
Oh my gosh. I can't even do it. There we go. Kind of. Okay. Who's doing this show? Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, so I think accessibility matters. I think it's great that there's a tool that's going to go around and say, hey, did you think of this? Hey, did you do this? It's like Clippy.
I mean, literally people will say that, oh, I didn't think of that, or I didn't realize. And people, it's kind of like an ableist view, but this is an easy, helpful way to fix it. So if it's genuinely just good intentions you didn't realize, now you realize.
Deb Lee says she answers to Debbie as well. Seth says Chris Brogan is a robot. Well, that is accurate. Great filter. Yeah, that's called the sun. It's great AI. Linda said about the Christmas tree, by the way, my kids asked if I could keep the Christmas tree up all year once, and I said yes. And so now it's one of their favorite childhood memories.
Oh, that's so sweet.
My children are too old to have childhood memories. They've given up.
I feel really bad, actually. I Marie Kondoed some stuff out of the house a while ago. We used to have these like really soft ornaments that were good for little kids. And now my kids are really big. So it's like, well, now we can put the nice ones up. And I threw away some that were just like yarn. And apparently my oldest liked those and had good memories about them. So now I feel really, really bad. Yeah. And I got them on sale at some like Disney Parks outlet. Like I can't get them back.
They're not coming back. Not unless you go to eBay and they're like $86 for someone else's smelly yarn.
I overdid it. I throw out all sorts of stuff, but it's all my stuff. And my kids throw out nothing at all. So still my house is just as full as it was. I just have less stuff.
Did you happen to read that Marie Kondo is given up now that she has 3 kids? She's like, whatever. It doesn't have to be as tidy.
Look, every mom in the world could have told her that was some BS. Like, you'd never even know a baby lived here. Okay.
You know a baby lives there.
You never say that to a parent, though. You never go, okay, well, you don't know. Like, I mean, a new parent. You're like, oh, yeah. wait, you've got all this to come, Don't even bother. You have to discover it for yourself.
You totally do. You know what else you have to discover is that we're sponsored by StreamYard. You could make a show just like this. See Brogan. Well, I mean,
you do better.
You don't need a co-host in your elbow, and you also don't need.
Do you want to do it by yourself?
No, I'm trying to quit. No, right. I would go because I have to go back to that. SeaBrogan.net/StreamYard. Okay. We're sponsored by Castos. You want to make a podcast? Stupid easy with Castos. Castos.com.
I do.
I want to make a John Mulaney fan podcast. I want to talk about him in Puss in Boots. The Last Wish.
I want to talk about him in the Spider-Verse.
Oh, hey, want your own .online domain? Sure you do. Who wouldn't really? cbrogan.net/online. 99 cents, I think
just
it
like
is.
Cover your bases.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I have .eth. Whatever the hell else.
Whatever the hell else.
Yeah.
It's a great domain. Just make sure you use the code Chris any which way you want to type it, and you'll get it.
You have to use the code Chris in all caps if you want the discount, which gives you the domain for 99 cents or something for a year, right?
99 cents. Hey, by the way, just to, we're not trendsetters because my parents are both in the same room.
Well, they were definitely in the same room at least twice.
2 different. I'm with you, Kerry. I love purging all the extra stuff. I feel like Leslie could be the next Marie Kondo. She has a she shed.
That's just one step removed, though, because then you're just like moving your stuff into one area. I want it completely gone. That's what happens. I had a relative pass away, and there was like lots and lots and lots of junk. And so after that, everything I look at now, I'm like, nah, I could live without it. Out it goes. I would be fine with my very far fewer things. Like I've been away from my house for weeks, and I don't miss anything that's there except for my kids.
I mean, it's good you missed a kid.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the reason I don't miss the other child is because that one is with me, in case you're wondering.
I was, hey.
Do you want to talk about favors?
Yeah, we were going to talk about some human tune-ups, and one of them is about favors. Some other guys coming too.
Other guys coming.
CEO of Gigster, something. The She Shed has 2 comfy chairs and a mini bar only. Oh.
Nice.
Linda Lepecki's key theme word for 2023 is subtraction, and I have let go of a lot of stuff of all kinds.
It's really good. I've thrown out so much stuff, and I think maybe one time I was like, dang, I wish I had that thing. And it wasn't that big a need for it. It was just like, oh, here, I actually could have used it, but that was it.
So we're not going to name names.
You love naming
But
names.
I love naming names. I really do. On Kerry's birthday, which was just a few weeks ago, you might all recall, because you probably all celebrated it. On Kerry's birthday, 2 different people messaged, "Happy birthday. Can you do this thing for me?"
Yeah, they did.
I just want to take a quick poll of the people still watching the Backpack Show live right now. Does that even make sense to you that someone would say to you, "Happy birthday, by the way, could you do this thing that has nothing to do with you? It's everything to do with me and I need a favor"? It doesn't make sense.
There's 2 possibilities. One is that they need a thing and they forgot about me until they saw my birthday notification come up and were like, she could do the thing. In that case, I would wait till the next day for the 2 separate messages.
Right.
I don't know. But the other possibility is that they were going to message me anyway about the thing and then realized it was my birthday. And I don't think that happens a lot. But if it does, then I think you got to like weigh your options and probably just don't mention the birthday at all.
It would almost be better not to mention
It's
the
better
birthday.
to pretend that you didn't realize, I feel like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, I was just thinking about you because I know you know how to do such and such, or I know
Yeah.
you're skilled at this. And
And I can
that'd be
ignore
good.
it until it's not my birthday.
That's right. But what is least pleasant is happy birthday. And by the way,
Not that there's there's an added element. So if they're not somebody that you communicate with regularly, it makes it especially egregious. If you talk to them all the time and this just happens to be a time they need a favor, like, okay,
yeah,
there's a little leeway there.
I'll
But if it's
allow
somebody
it.
that only pops up to say happy birthday and then they stack on a favor, that's what I'm saying is like not my idea.
Maybe
of a
don't do that.
Good idea. Yeah.
Dean says people are funny, and by funny I mean stupid. He's right.
No, they're not thinking.
God.
They're stupid.
This is
You need a new desk. We're just going to take a journey.
into my nose.
Maybe you should get window treatments. Do you think? I feel like maybe you should. Let's do it.
How's no?
Let's go to Lowe's. Taking the backpack show.
I'll go anywhere with you.
Then I'll go myself.
Oh
I'll
my
measure.
God, look at the sun, though. We're done. Okay, that's
How
what
does
I
this
think
not happen
happens.
when we do the show?
I don't know. Well, because when I'm by myself, I can. The camera's over here.
Then put it over there, and we'll just wave from over there. No, you're facing towards the window. You don't put it there and face it towards the window.
Oh, I don't know.
You put it there and face
Something-
it towards you.
Something. The Backpack Show.
It's going really well.
Look, we're not watching the show to watch us. You know what we look like. She's attractive. I'm interesting. There. So Deanna said that's what I think happened, but probably give a 2 to 3 day break. Come on. Happy birthday on the birthday. Then 2 days later, hope your birthday was amazing.
You can almost do it.
Yeah, there we go.
Almost do it.
Every day I like, I'm going to the light.
But it sounds like I don't want to help people. I help people all the time.
All the time.
And people help me all the time. I'm really lucky. But I also just would like not intrude on their birthday. Be like, do this thing for me.
Right.
Thank you.
Dad says, if you treat your windows, they will treat you well.
See, you should take his advice.
I think he's a smart little wizard.
Are you looking for the time? It's 10:28.
No, I was getting a message from my chief executive officer.
It's time to answer him.
Bye, Deanna. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Merry Christmas. Okay, going to start an I'm dying garage sale and make a sign because aren't we all?
That's true.
Kate, you are smart.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
I
though.
hate though. I don't like haggling over stuff.
Yeah.
You know, where people are like, I'll give you $1 for this whole box. And
Perfect.
there's, like jewelry and TV in the box and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather throw it out.
Yeah. I'd rather no one have it.
I'd rather throw it out. No, somebody could like fish it out of the trash or like some dumps. Remember they used to have a dump? Like
Yes.
some small towns where you go bring your things. They would
Yeah.
have like a dump store, which wasn't really a store. Like you just go salvageable stuff.
I mean, I like that idea. Well, they have that now in like Facebook, right? They have like those
Yeah, but it's like
swap.
one item at a time. You got to get it. When I was growing up at the dump, there was an actual like area where just everybody would put things they thought were salvageable, but they couldn't use.
I want that. I think that's really smart.
And then when
Look at
my,
that. That's
my
kinda
uncle
good.
passed away,
Color
We had some
wise,
stuff out on the street that we just left that was like totally fine stuff, and people would just take it. So we did do that.
I like that.
Yeah. That was luck of the drawer. Like,
oh my gosh, look at this. So Linda,
I'll stand up and block the sun for you.
My human curtain. Linda said, I just completed a death decluttering so that when I pass away, it's going to be easier on my kids to wrap the house up.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of morbid sounding, but like I also like it. I've threatened my parents for years. Don't save anything for me because of sentimental value. I will just torch your whole house, which is evil. But
I feel like that's helpful for sure. But the paperwork is a bigger issue. Like if you have one spot that has your insurance policies, statement of your wishes, your estate planning documents or trust, like whatever you've got, put it there.
Yeah, because you went through that. You had a whole house to sink apart.
It wasn't, and a lot of the stuff just wasn't even there.
Mm.
So especially if you have a burial plot, because you can't look those up. So sorry, that's done. Happy backpack show, everybody.
Yeah. So death decluttering, yes, but also document gathering, put them in an important place.
Advanced planning, and then tell everybody where they are. Or at least tell your chosen executor or administrator where they are.
And maybe one other person in case that person dies in the same fire.
Yes. I'm just thinking if you feel like things might get contentious, don't tell everybody because then they might go, oh no, where's the will?
I don't have anything.
He's gone.
People could take everything out. Look, there you go. There's like a guitar and headphones. Yeah.
It would be inconvenient though.
Yeah, that's very true. I can have a guitar. All right. There's a special briefcase with all the instructions and my prepaid funeral stuff. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay.
That's next level, by the way.
That is. I like that.
Because then you get whatever you want, and your kids have to be like, "Did you really want a paisley casket?"
Right.
And you're like, "Pay for it."
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Person of the day. I had an idea because I haven't seen him on my feed in 100 years. I was going to go with, well, I can't use that particular one. Let's see. Right here. Stain.
Oh, nice.
Stain Eric Sorhug. We used to work together, and now he is running a very important company, Vimond or whatever. Stain, you're the person of the day. That means if you're still around watching, because he probably isn't, you are entitled to one free apple. You just have to go buy it at a store.
Into a strudel.
Yep, you can make a strudel. Do Norwegians eat strudels?
I don't know. I would eat it. I'm American.
And Irish.
And Irish.
That's
and
what
I would eat it.
That's what the.
I eat the hell out of some strudel.
That's
Let's take a journey.
Irish. Take a belly cam photo or something. Look at my belly. Apples. So yeah, that's it. Something. Okay. I don't know. Hey, so I was thinking we should like discuss what we're gonna put in our backpack.
But they got dogs that sniff for that now.